Hey everybody, I'm Mphela, everybody knows who I am, and today I'm having a conversation with one of the producers of the show that pioneered a genre in South Africa. It was told as a tale of two families who are rivals and run taxi empire, to say. The show was called Isibaya, of course, and it changed the industry. It became one of those staple shows that viewers, myself included, who were used to a certain way of television being done in South Africa, were exposed to a much more open world outside of the soapie world. And I think it was one of the first telenovelas that we got accustomed to in South African television. With me is Deseree Markgraaff from Bomb Production, who is one of the producers of this show. Deseree, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
I'm good. It's weird that you and I have to speak when you guys are now shutting doors on this, okay? So since this is our first conversation, let's go back to the inception of the show. How did the show come about?
You know, I think the journey of Isibaya was just such a fantastic one. Emmett at the time was interested in exploring telenovelas. It's a new format.
Yeah.
It's a format that's done incredibly well in South America and across the world. And we hadn't really found our feet in it in South Africa. And when they put out a brief, the thing that we really were interested in exploring was, where's the big areas of drama in South African society? You know, like, who's the equivalent of the South African mafia, where you find life and death stakes, where people are really charged? And so there were three big things that drove us to Isibaya. One was the taxi industry. You know, we read about it all the time. We see all these big dramas playing out on the TV and in real life, but we don't really know anything about the taxi industry. And actually, it's just men and women, making a living, trying to build their own families, trying to build businesses, and actually they're the lifeblood of South Africa. And I think that they're often a maligned part of our world, because actually without the taxi industry, you go back into apartheid, Patco buses. That's what gave birth to the taxi industry, and that taxi industry has kept business running. So we wanted to tell a story about that. Yeah. And then the other thing was, all of us come from somewhere. Even if you're born in Joburg or wherever you're born, actually home is somewhere else. Home is where Gogo is. So home is where your family is. Even if you've never even hardly been there, you feel like that's where I come from. There's a connection. And the taxi industry is the thing that connects you to home, to family, to your traditions and your values and all of the things that are important to you. Yeah. So that was the second thing that we were really interested in. And then the third was, we felt like, actually we haven't really explored rural South Africa in an interesting way. You always play rural South Africa as people who don't know anything. But actually it's not true. Because rural South Africa is full of really interesting people that are running businesses, that are keeping the economy buoyant in their own communities. And we never tell stories that are really dignified about that. So those three things really were what inspired the origins of Isibaya. And we were just excited about playing with drama. We are drama people. We come from a history of doing short dramas, Yizo, etc. And we wanted to take that same energy and put it onto screen every day.
And the journey though, did you guys have to pitch the show, or did the channel say, can you give us something?
No, we had to pitch.
So you guys conceptualized it and you went to channel and said, hey, we think this would work on your platform.
Yeah, I mean, we pitched it. I'm sure there were a lot of other people pitching. There's always a pitching process. And pitching is exciting. Yeah. For filmmakers out there, you all think, oh, we get rejected and it's so hard to pitch. Actually, pitching is what makes you sharp. Yeah. Because if you can't tell the story in a room, how are you going to tell it, over 260 episodes? But when we started, telenovela was very different. I mean, actually, telenovela is supposed to be a finite thing, right? And so we were going to do one season. In fact, Bafo, Mandla and Joko's character, he was dead in episode 20. There were lots of characters. It was supposed to end with Nomzamo's character finally killing her father, who was Mkovo, and it was a killing out of love for her father because she didn't want to see him in this Mkovo state. So all of that was a nice little package. And then, of course, Isibaya became so popular, and everybody said, well, can you do a year 2? And actually we didn't know, we had no idea how we were going to keep it alive. So 8 years is a fantastic run for what was supposed to be 206 episodes.
And the name, where does the name come from? Isibaya? How did you guys come up with that name? Where does it come from?
Well, actually, I mean, obviously, everybody knows Isibaya is where the cattle are,
Yeah.
and so it has big significance for a Zulu man and a Zulu family, number one. But also, if you think about it, a taxi owner and the taxis that they keep, those are their cattle. And that night, those taxis come home to the kraal. But the person who actually came up with the name is an editor here.
Yeah.
You know, we were all excited, and everybody was talking about the show. And one of our editors, Mphela, who's the online editor of the show, had the idea for the name, and we all just said,
that is great. Like, I'm thinking about it now. You know, like I'm actually thinking about Brit taxi rank. I'm seeing cows now. I'm not seeing taxis anymore. Good. So you've got the concept, you've got the name. Now you have to think about the people that are going to bring this story to life in terms of talent, actors. What informed the decisions to cast the people that you cast on the initial, season that you were going to make for the 206 episode? Who are the people that you were like, these are the people that we believe that would bring this story to life the way that we envisioned it?
So one of the first people was Siyabonga Twala.
Yeah.
We'd wanted to work with Siyabonga for a long time. And we, even before we really started writing that character, we had a lot of meetings with Siyabonga and the development of the Mkovo character.
Yeah.
We'd done with him. And, we also thought, if we're going to go down the road of Mkovo, there are not many people who can carry that off without it being cheesy and, embarrassing. But Siyabonga is such a Rolls Royce actor, and he was so excited about challenging himself in that way. So there were a lot of conversations between him and Angus and Tebogo about what to do with that character. So he was definitely up front, a big part of the show, and also just the idea of a taxi boss and what that means and what it represents, not only in terms of the taxi business, but also in terms of family. We were interested in telling the story behind the taxi boss family, and we spoke to, for example, Kanye and Bao, her father's a taxi boss, and just what was behind the scenes in that family. And she was so interesting for us because there was so much love in that family, and she's got siblings that are so different from what her roots are.
Yeah.
So all of those things informed us. We met with a lot of taxi bosses, often coming into our offices with security guards, and you knew you've got to look out the window. But so with talent, we were keen to balance talent that we really wanted to work with, great actors, and we wanted a lot of new faces. So we started holding big casting sessions, and a lot of them in KZN. So Nomzamo, for example, she, Kudrwano, who was with us at the time, Kudrwano Tsela, who was, doing casting with us, he had seen her and said, I think this girl could be interesting. She'd just come runner up on an MTV thing. And we brought her in, and I remember Nomzamo must have had 8 or 9 auditions. She was so young, she was such a baby, and she would sit there and she was so excited about the job. Jessica, we discovered in KZN, she'd also not done anything. Mdu, so many actors we found in the process that had never been on screen before, and we were interested in exploring that. And I can tell you what the most rewarding thing for me as a producer has been, is to see the growth. Is to see Isibaya, the girl that Nomzamo was, to this powerhouse woman that she is today. Of course, we didn't make that. She had it in her genes. What you do as a producer or a filmmaker is you open the door for talent. And if they really have it, I mean, if I think back to Zola, Zola came in there, I remember, with dreads, and he'd never done anything before, but he took that opportunity. And I think Isibaya gave a lot of people an opportunity. Celeste, Sipokazi, Celeste had never done, she'd never thought of doing acting. She was a comedian, and she never saw herself in that role. And I mean, Celeste has played very powerful scenes that are very deep and dramatic. As a comedian, also understanding timing and understanding human beings. So, a big part for us, Phil, has been finding new talent and creating opportunity for new talent.
And you know what, I want to talk about the production itself behind the scenes and the talent that you've honed behind the scenes, because a lot of times people forget that to make a television show takes a village, it takes a whole lot of people in front or behind the scenes. So we tend to look at the talent in front of the camera and their growth without forgetting that there are other people behind the scenes that may have not done anything before they came to Israel. Do you want to talk about that? Are there any people like that within the Bomb production that you guys have helped through this show?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, there's no doubt that Isibaya You know, as much as we all fall in love with the characters, it's
Yeah.
the crew that has made the show, because they are out there 5-6 days a week from 5 in the morning till 7 at night. Those action sequences, running around, helicopters, guns, battles in the mountain, car chases. This is a huge village of people who love this show. But we've had amazing stories. I mean, for example, Piwe, who's one of our key directors on the show. You know, she started off in wardrobe, then went into continuity, and she just understood this world and the story so well. And if you meet Piwe, she's this very tiny, little petite girl. She looks like she's just come out of school, but underneath, she's got a muscle. And, you know, running a big set with big actors, you can just, you know who's on that show. She had to really stand up, and, you know, so she's a fantastic journey of somebody who started with nothing and ended the show as a senior director. So we've had many people like that. One of our key editors, Vero, started off doing subtitling. She'd never done anything. She's now one of the key editors, and she's a powerhouse creatively. So we've had a lot of fantastic journeys of people growing. One of our cameramen started off as a cable basher, and he was just hungry to learn, and now he operates on second unit, and you know, he's one of our key camera people. So we've seen a lot of people grow on Isibaya, and all of them are people that we have deep respect for and love. And of course, you know, at the top sits Adze, an incredible director, who's nurturing, you know, who's trained a lot of other directors up. We've had so many good people working on the show. Zeno, Stimbiso. I mean, we've just had a team who love the show.
Yeah, guys, remember, you can join the conversation by using the hashtag Isibaya Farewell, and ask whatever question that you want to ask. If you've watched the show or the 8 years that it's been on air, if you're wondering what's going to happen beyond this point with the production and the channel, please join the conversation by just using that hashtag. The hashtag is hashtag Farewell, Isibaya Farewell. That's Isibaya Farewell. So Deseree, I want to talk about the process it takes, or it took. Are you guys still shooting?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
upstairs right now.
Okay. The process it takes to shoot a show of this magnitude, your location shoot and your studio shoot. Let's talk about the location shoot, for instance, right? Isibaya is known for these elaborate, you know, village settings and all of that. How many people does it take to shoot that? I mean, like, how long does it take to shoot an episode in that setting?
So the thing about daily TV is you've got to shoot an episode a day.
Yeah.
So if you think classically, all of your daily shows are set in a studio, because then you can control the weather, the environment. It's easy to control. You've got 6 or 7 sets. You pre-light everything, and you can plan.
Yeah.
And we felt like if we were going to really reinvent the genre in some way and bring big drama, we had to get out of the confines of the studio, because it limits you all the time. So we started off by, we took the old Godfrey Malloy house in Protea. So I know I look very young. Actually, I'm quite old. Phil? But Godfrey Malloy, I remember when he built the house. Now, Godfrey Malloy was known as the Godfather, right?
Yes.
And he had taxis.
Yeah.
He was this incredible character. So, you know, we also drew some inspiration from him. But when we went to his house was standing sort of empty. He passed away many years ago, and his son was living there. So we did a deal with his son to rent the house to become Mpiaki Zungu's Joburg home. And we sort of turned that into our studio. That was our on-location studio, which allows us then to film on the streets and to be in Joburg on the streets. And we then went down to Mzansi, and we started the opening. We filmed the first 16, 17 episodes a lot in Mzansi.
Yeah.
And we then had stockpiled a lot of material, and we started looking for what could we cheat Mzansi for here. So in fact, the whole of Isibaya and Mzansi is shot right here in Devland on a little hill, you know, just behind Power Park. And we rebuilt the houses there, put rondavels up, and brought cattle and goats, and so we turned it into a live studio.
Okay, cool.
So that's, you know, and that was a lot of fun. Actually, that's what inspired us a lot, because every day, okay, it's raining, let's take the scene inside. Okay, the sun's out, let's get out. Oh, there's a sunset. Everybody runs up onto the hill.
Okay, you promised me that we're going to have an honest conversation, so let me be a little naughty. There was a story that was run in the media that some of the cattle that you guys had bought and were using were stolen. Is that true or not? Let's just put that on record right now. Was that true? Did they steal your cattle? cattle?
No.
Okay, what
Oh
happened?
yes, our cattle were stolen.
Yes.
But we didn't steal the cattle. The big thing at the time was somebody had said that they saw their cows on Isibaya and that we had stolen the cattle.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
No, but so then actually the first time it was somebody from Singer who said they saw the cattle, and we said, well, it's not possible because we're shooting in Joburg.
Yeah.
And then it was a farmer close by who said they had seen the cattle. Actually, often we rented cattle and the cattle would be brought to our farm.
Yeah.
We did buy a few cattle. And then one Christmas, all of those cattle just disappeared. I don't know. There was some magic going on there. But so I don't know what happened to the cattle. But I know that the guys who at one stage did say that we stole the cattle came to our studio and they had a cow, a little baby cow, a calf in the back, and they were bringing it as a gift for the Queen, for Jessica.
Oh, okay.
So I think that they said we were stealing cattle because actually they just wanted to meet Jessica.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Look, I'm told that you guys planted a tree at the beginning of the show. Is the tree still there?
Oh my God, this tree is like my thing. It's going to make me cry.
Yeah.
At the beginning, we planted this little acacia tree. You know the tree you see at the middle of the Zungu homestead in KZN. And at Kwagacheni in the middle, there's this little tree, and it was sort of open, and we thought, okay, let's plant something there. We planted a small acacia, you know, the size of a small person. That tree is now so huge, the whole crew can sit under it. And you know, that had significance for us because Isibaya has been a home for cast and crew for 8 years. I've seen people's lives change. I've seen people who used to come with absolutely nothing in their pocket, now driving Mercedes Benzes. They've built a house. They've built their mama house. It's, you know, and I'm not just talking about cast, but crew. It's been a place where people have been sheltered and protected, and we are a bit like a family, often quite messy. I mean, we fight with each other, our own line.
Yes.
But also those fights are always about wanting to do something that's fresh and better and challenge each other and, well, not always, sometimes it's just, you know, like family can really piss you off.
Yeah. And in terms of talent that you've worked with over the years, right? What was the model for you? Were you just looking at retaining talent for a long period of times? Or were you guys looking at, you know what, if you can get young people or fresh talent every now and then to use and then let them go, that would work for you? So which model worked best for you? Like retaining talent for a long period of time for stories or rotating talent?
I mean, I think a little bit of both. You know, because we didn't start off with an idea that it was going to be 10 years, we didn't think about that in the beginning. We really started to think about rotating talent as we started thinking about refreshing story and building story. And you know, a lot of talent were new and had come in, and I think everybody knows one thing about BOM. We're incredibly loyal to talent. You know, people have been with us from the first day of Yizu Yizu. We'll bring them in. Popeye and Spinach were 7 and 38. So many people we build a relationship with, and if an actor is really talented and really good, we want to give them a platform to showcase their talent. Think of Zakele, for example, you know, Scaleni. I mean, what an incredible powerhouse of an actor who started off in a little role, and then we wanted to grow that. So we really worked on who was working in story, which character did we want to grow, and then balancing it with refreshing. So for example, when we brought in the new family, you know, Linda Mtoba, for example, she was new, she'd never done anything before. I remember her sitting in this boardroom here, and she had this beautiful weave on and wig on. And I said to her, but we really want to see your face. Will you take your wig off? And she was so shocked that I would ask her. But, you know, underneath that was this woman that you could see, okay, you can take her to so many different places. And she was a young actor, so putting her together with really skilled actors like Mzansi was about nurturing, you know. So it was a lot of fun to do that.
And you know, and I love that you mentioned that, because I see a lot of the time on social media, people are saying comments like, why would they allow some amateur to be acting with, you know, grades like this? But as you say, that can actually help the new actor to kind of, like, you know, elevate their game and be able
and the older actor, because it brings you something fresh. It keeps you, you know, it keeps you fresh. You start to get into your own rhythm, and suddenly you've got a young actor there who's challenging and doesn't know anything. It just, I think it elevates you. I mean, another person I think really did incredibly on the show was Andile Fazile.
Yeah.
You know, he had done one particular kind of character. He came here and he presented an idea for this character. And we all know that guy in the rural areas that speaks so slowly. You want to like get that guy to finish his sentence. And I was like, oh my God, this is never going to work. These episodes are going to be so long. But actually that thing became such an endearing quality for him. And his fabulous use of language and playing with language and names. You know, so actors bring things. You start off, like it's a team effort, Phil. You start off with an idea, then this person adds to it and adds to it. And a character is made by many people, by the makeup artist, the director, the actor, the writer, you know.
Yeah, before we talk about the ending of the show, let's talk about the COVID situation. How did it affect the production of Isibaya?
I'm just sitting here thinking we've been talking for a long time. No, I won't lie, it's been a nightmare, it's been very hard. You know, you've got to find a way to keep working, and it says the big thing is that, you know, especially in COVID, TV, entertainment has become more important for everybody. We're stuck at home, we want to see something. So, in the beginning it was very hard to get an understanding of how this thing spread and how to manage our risks. I think we've got better and better. We do a lot of testing. Obviously we've lost a lot of time, and when we lose time, you know, we're on air every night, so we have to do an episode every day. So if we can't shoot for a day because we're down for COVID, we have to find ways of catching it up.
Yeah.
So often we run 2 crews so that we can catch up when we've lost time. It's been difficult, and you know, I must say, Sacheni, who's sitting right here, has been somebody who's been amazing around COVID, because looking after cast and crew, you know, suddenly you've got it in your home and you're feeling scared and nervous what's going to happen. Sacheni's been really amazing at just looking after, making sure everybody's okay, and you know, luckily we managed to keep everybody paid and working.
Yeah. So let's talk about the sad news now. Okay, it's official right now that Isibaya is coming to an end. Before we get to the details of how you guys found out about it, I just want you to talk about the fact that people need to understand that at some point you guys knew that the show will end. It was not going to be running forever. Remember, you said from the beginning that you guys only expected to only have like 206 episodes, right? So let's just put that on record. This is a telenovela. At some point it was going to end. But you guys were fortunate enough to have 8 years. However, in the last year, there's been speculation for a very long time that the show's coming to an end. The show's coming to an end. When did you guys know for sure that you guys are not going to be renewed for another
season?
season?
I think already when we brought season 7 to a climax, we were already in the discussion of saying we think that the time for Isibaya is coming to an end. It's had its journey, and I think you've got to know this with any show, all our favorite shows, Game of Thrones, it doesn't matter what you're watching. At some point, there's saturation, and you say, okay, it's time for something fresh, it's time for something new. So we already started the discussions at the beginning of season 8, and I guess, you know, we started to conclude those discussions a couple of months ago, and then we let the cast and crew know that towards the end of last year that we had decided, together with Channel, that it was time to.
Yeah. Look, as with every show, the ratings go up, ratings go down. That happens with all the shows, from the Uzalo, the #1 show in the country, to anyway, numbers fluctuate, right? The story out there is that the show is getting cancelled because of the ratings, right? You are saying that, okay, you guys knew from the beginning of season 7 or the ending of season 7 that, you know, the story might have come to its, you know, natural conclusion and you might not be continuing. So what is the factor now? Let's put it on the record so that everyone at home knows, why is the show being cancelled? Is it ratings, or is it just coming to a natural conclusion?
You know, I think it's both things, because as we said, we felt like, okay, the journey for Isibaya is coming to an end. It reflects in ratings. You can feel it. You can feel when the energy of something, it's time to end the show.
I love that line. It reflects in ratings.
Yeah, I think they work together, and I think one's got to be really mature about it. We're in the business of entertainment.
Yes.
And when one thing ends, something new and fantastic is going to replace it. And you remember that thing for all the, you know, if you think of the first 5-6 years of Isibaya, I mean, it was, people were crazy about this show.
I know.
We had no idea that people.
You made ghost and topology cool, don't you?
And you know, and then you ride that fantastic wave and you enjoy it. But at some stage, you know, okay, there's got to be a new one that comes up. That's life.
Yeah.
So it's sad to bring it to an end, but it's also, it's exciting. It's exciting about the new thing that's going to come. For us, it's exciting. I mean, we're going on to new projects. So, you know, it's life.
Yeah. In terms of the show and its legacy, what do you want the legacy of Isibaya to be? What do you want people 10 years from now when you talk about Isibaya? What do you want us to be saying? That is why Isibaya was on television. That's what that show did for the entertainment industry.
I think one thing is I think that Isibaya opened up the door for many others to follow because we pioneered a way that you could shoot live action, exterior, and still finish an episode a day. So it gave people a lot of courage and confidence. You know, it's like anything. Once somebody's done it, then everybody goes, oh yeah. But sometimes just that one person, and you know, you can say it's luck or whatever it is, luck combined with skill, combined with timing. All of those things factor. It's not just like, oh, this person is amazing and they could do it. It's not that. Many people are now doing it, and they're doing it well, and they're doing it better. I mean, that's what it is. So one, I'd like to say that I hope we opened the door. Two is that I think that we also made people feel, broadcasters especially, courageous about telling stories that are uniquely South African, about language, about exploring stories that are authentically South African. And that characters don't all have to be beautiful and glamorous and rich in order to hold people's attention. So, you know, lastly, I think that it's a show that'll sit in your memory in 15 years' time. You're going to go, oh, I remember Isibaya when you see it in Kovo. I mean, you know, it's in politics. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
what can people expect? Okay, before we get to that, do we have any questions on that?
Well, a lot of people are asking if the show could be extended to 2023 so that it's just 10 years. You're getting lots of love, lots of questions, lots of people going to miss Isibaya, lots of people wishing that it wouldn't come to an end. So really lovely comments.
Well, it makes me, I mean, I'm being very brave because actually I feel very tearful about it. Also, I think, you know, the relationship that we've had with viewers is something that really inspires filmmakers. At night when you're watching, you know, social media is a devil and an angel. You know, you only want to hear the nice things. You don't want to hear the bad things. But you've got to listen to them both. And, you know, I want to say that we really tried to listen to audiences where we could. And that the response that we got and the love that we got from audiences, you know, be it stopping at a traffic light or certainly in KZN, I mean, just the love that we, and the people that we worked with, and Singer and KZN, like, there's such a huge family of people that we have that have made Isibaya what it is, and the audience has been a big part of that family. And hopefully we're going to bring something new that people will fall in love with again. And maybe, you know, maybe we'll revisit. You know, like, Bubusini is not going anywhere.
That was going to be my next question, because I was thinking, is there a possibility that some of the popular characters you would do a spin-off? Because we don't really do that in South Africa. You guys could pioneer a new thing by actually doing a spin-off of taking two characters that are popular from there and do a series on them. You see, I want my check. You see that on TV. Okay. Somebody just reminded me right now that I needed to highlight the point, the fact that you guys actually, you didn't, I don't want to say exposed, because, you know, we don't know if these people would have had careers with or without the show or not, because, you know, the industry is big. It's big. But Stumo Chai, just the course you mentioned, a lot of people were helped in terms of, you know, their career getting bigger and being recognized through the show. You want to speak on that and you know, pat yourself in the bed?
Well, I think what it is, when a good actor is coupled with the right character, magic happens. It is about that combination of casting, because you see many good actors die in roles and put them in the right role. Like for me, Siyabonga as Mphela Zulu, I mean, it was just a match made in heaven, right? Let's be honest. All the other roles that he's played, and he's a fantastic actor and we love him, but that man and that role were magic. The same as Mzansi. You know, she just got that girl, she got that character. So I think, you know, Stumo was already a young star rising, and actually Stumo was cast, it was a big thing that happened at the beginning, because we cast somebody else and then this person went AWOL, and we originally wanted Stumo and he hadn't been available, but then we had to recast, and like literally Stumo finished shooting on another show, ran to the hairdresser, got into a bus, drove down to Msinger and rush down to the lake to do the first, the river to do the first scene with Nomzamo.
Yeah.
And then, like the rest is history, that role was just so perfect for him. Palan Stadler,
Yeah.
he was a baby. Look at him now. You know, they've also grown as maturity and people. Honestly, I feel like a mother because when I see the growth in so many of the actors and crew on Isibaya, that is the real joy. I mean, that's for me the best thing to do is to say, you see people flying. I see Nomzamo and she's coming to America, or she's, you know, all the philanthropic work she's doing, or Ayanda Barotto and this beautiful book that she's written and a whole new career. Celeste, I feel so glad that we could just open the door.
Yeah.
And they've gone through it. They're doing it themselves, you know.
Look, we've got you here, so let's just abuse you. We've got a lot of actors who are probably on there, or people who aspire to be actors. You know, you are a casting director, you're a producer, you are somebody who has been working in the industry for a very long time, right? What are the biggest no-nos in terms of somebody wanting to be an actor, somebody wanting to be in shows that you produce? What is the one thing that you hope people don't do?
Don't be unprofessional. You know, being an actor is like any other thing. Thank you. Being an actor is like any other job. You have to be professional, you have to take care of it, you've got to be prepared. So, being unprofessional and abusing the power that you have as an actor, as a celebrity, is for me a big no-no, because ultimately it just hurts everything around you. The thing that I think, you know, for young aspiring actors is be authentic, be yourself. And, you know, of course, you've got to be a character, but you've got to find that character in yourself. You've got to find the thing that connects with you, because you can't fake emotion. You can't fake a performance. It's either there, you know, Sacheni sitting right here, he'll tell you as an actor, you've got to find that thing. And I don't know what makes magic. We see people, you know, you just see it. You just see somebody comes in. I mean, Zamani, Nomzamo's younger brother, when we were doing Isitembiso, Zamani came in for an audition and he was so raw and he had no experience. But you could just see underneath there, he understood the character and he could bring life to it. So I think when people go for auditions, you know, really read that thing and understand who is this person that you are, what could their life experience have been, what can I bring from my life that can make that real. And be nice, you know, be just a nice person.
It makes something easier for you.
Just be nice, be humble, be nice. We all work together. I mean, Vusi Kunene, one of the biggest powerhouse actors in this country, when he comes onto set, the most humble man, always on time, you know, absolutely wonderful to work with, knows his dialogue, has thought about it, you know, it's respectful with the director, is respectful with the props person. Like, it's a team that makes it.
Okay. A lot of conversation on social media surrounding the acting and the industry at large always tends to veer to the fact that, oh, if I don't have this many followers, I'm not going to get hired as an actor. Or it's never about, maybe I don't have the job, maybe I haven't honed my craft enough to be able to get this role. So I want to make that very clear right now while we're on the Mzansi Magic platform, right? Are social media followers numbers important in an audition room?
No. Not at all. I mean, Linda Mtuba didn't have a follower. Chris Khadebe, by the way, Tabula, I mean, where did he come from? You know, I just love Chris Khadebe's face. Chris used to be a storyliner, a junior storyliner at the beginning of Isibaya. He's now senior storyliner and, I mean, head writer, and he's, you know, plays a character. He went from, I don't know, 400 followers to whatever followers he's got. Nomzamo had not, I don't know, what did he have, 5,000 followers. He's got 2.5 million. We don't cast on the basis of followers, we cast on the basis of talent. And talent will get followers. It's just that simple. If you look at Gomorrah, all those young kids on Gomorrah, nobody even knew who they were. You know, within a year they're all going to have 1 million followers. So I really believe that if the talent is there and it's matched with the right role, people will respond. And especially with new talent. We love to see new talent on our screen. But having said that, Phil, I also think acting is a career. And you don't want to say, oh, you just want to have new people all the time. Okay, so now what happens to your job? Must we just throw you out? There's a balance for both. You want to see that great actor reinvent themselves. You want to see all the people that you love in a new role. And then you want to see fresh people coming in. So,
and look, on that, I always say that on the flip side as well, this is a business. You know, it's a business. Television is a business, and as much as we say that talent should not be trumped by followers, also when you are in a position to use your platform to promote the work that you're doing, the show that you are doing, you must use that. I always say to people that your agent is not your manager. You know, don't expect your agent to be pushing you as a brand. That's not their job. Their job is to get you work. But once you've been given a platform like Isibaya or any other show, use that to elevate yourself to another level where you are able to get even bigger opportunities or more diverse.
If you want to be a celebrity actor, you know, take somebody like Isibaya, for example. He doesn't want that. He says, my character has to live. I don't want to talk. I don't want to break that wall for my audience to see me, Isibaya, and listen to me talk. I want people to love Mphela. He's the character. So I think it really depends on, you know, if you're saying I want to build a brand for myself, and it's true, you can make money outside of that, you're endorsing products, etc. But I do think that people have to be careful that they don't just become brand endorsed products, and that they're just talking about themselves and their new washing machine or whatever it is, and not building the thing that makes them have so many followers.
Okay, cool. This is very, 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 very interesting. We could be talking about this for the whole day, but we don't have that much time. I'm a data pen. So what can we expect in terms of the final days of Isibaya? Without revealing too much and spoiling anything for everybody, what can we expect in terms of you guys doing this 8 years?
Well, I think first of all, you can expect that we're going to have a lot of big action. And that there's been some feuds in that valley that have been boiling for 8 years. And we need to bring some of this to a nice, juicy end. So I guess the question is, who's going to be the last man or woman standing? Who's the person who's going to finally put an end to this nonsense?
I don't know if you can tell us this, but can you expect some cameos? Look, I'm going to give it to them. Can we expect some return cameos to kind of like, you know, close this off?
I don't know, you'll just have to keep watching. And you know, you'll have to keep watching, but and I can say, you know, there's going to be a lot of romance. There's some weddings in the pipeline, there's some, you know, happy endings, and then there's a couple of, you're going to have a good cry.
Okay, cool. Listen, Deseree, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed this, and I'm really excited to see what you guys are going to be doing. And thank you for doing an amazing job with Isibaya for 8 years. And we wish you guys all the best. Can't wait to see what you guys are coming up with next.
Thank you, and thank you to everybody out there who's been watching and following and has made the show so fabulous to keep making. And we'll be back with something exciting soon.
Cool. Listen, guys, here's what's gonna happen, right? The hashtag Isibaya Farewell will be running throughout the coming weeks or months until the show eventually goes off air. So we're gonna be doing a lot of these interviews and videos, you know, around the ending of the show. So we really appreciate you guys being engaged in that. Think about the questions that you guys want us to ask the crew and the cast of Isibaya, the messages that you guys want to send to them. Use the hashtag Isibaya Farewell on all social media platforms, and we'll keep you guys updated on what's going to happen next. I'm Mphela. Thanks to Tagged for organizing this. Thank you, Mzansi Magic, for allowing me to take over their platform. And I love you guys. I'll see you on the socials. Bye.